Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is mostly about updates and news regarding World War II and the beta, but I am going over the news that I found was most important and worth going over. So if you want to check out everything that they dropped in regards to news and updates, I will leave links in the description below, and I will put up some screenshots real quick later in the video so you can check out everything. First off, we have the M1903 or Springfield sniper rifle that was brought into the beta, and it's pretty damn good in my opinion. It one-shots what seems like 99% of the time. The only downsides being the small 5-round magazine and the lack of aim assist. If you use this weapon, I highly recommend the regular scope because the x4 scope seemed very jarring when combined with the lack of aim assist. They also had a new secondary called the machine pistol. The machine pistol seems to be just a full auto version of the Mauser. The Mauser you might recognize from past Call of Duty games, or if you're familiar with zombies and Origins, you start off with the Mauser pistol. Now this pistol isn't too good, it's not too great either. It's very handy to pick up a quick kill, but the full auto in the 10-round clip makes it almost impossible to go on a streak with. But I'm actually glad that Sledgehammer Games is treating the pistols like a last resort weapon. If you look at past Call of Duty games, like even back to Black Ops 2, tons of secondary guns were used as primaries almost, where you could go on insane streaks with them and they were just too powerful. I'm really glad that they're toning it down. I like the secondaries to be a little more grounded and realistic in terms of power compared to the primary weapons, and I'm glad Sledgehammer Games is taking this route because I think secondaries have always been really powerful, and I think they need to take a seat back and let the primaries handle most of the dirty work. Up next, we have the M1A1 carbine. Now, the M1A1 carbine was back in World at War, and honestly, I never really used or liked the carbine back in World at War, and it doesn't really change with this beta. I thought the carbine in this beta was average, at least on the small maps we were given. This gun is a consistent 3-shot with almost no recoil, but you almost need to be on a head glitch 24/7 or only watch long sightlines because the fire rate is capped, and even with rapid fire, I was very unimpressed. Overall, I didn't care for this gun, and I much prefer the 8-round clip Grand because of the time to kill, and it's much more consistent. Up next on my list, we have the M1928 Thompson SMG. The M1928 or the Thompson is super good in this beta. It feels super nice, especially with the new sprint out time. You should be seeing a little bit of gameplay on the screen now. And the Thompson quickly became one of my favorite SMGs in the beta, and I would compare it most to the PPSH, but I gotta say, all the SMGs feel great in the beta. They all feel really solid to use, but I had the most fun using the Thompson since the release, and I'm looking forward to using it more in the actual game. Up next, I want to talk about the new basic training items. These are just two more of what looks like to be many basic training perks in Call of Duty World War II, and the ones they added were called Instincts and Concuss. Now, Instincts gives off a warning when targeted off screen, and it shows enemy explosive equipment. This is super similar to a combat rig ability in Infinite Warfare. I'm blanking on the name, but in Infinite Warfare there was a rig similar to this, but instead of your screen highlighting, I'm assuming your character or a teammate will yell something out in the middle once someone is looking at you, but you can't see them on your screen. And the latter is self-explanatory. We've seen perks like this in the past where enemy equipment is seen through walls or highlighted in some way. What interests me about this is that it specifically says explosive equipment. But overall, it's nothing new, really in any sense. Overall, the basic trainings are looking super diverse, and it's just going to be weird to see how it takes over the perk system for Call of Duty World War II. And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing way more basic training perks in the final game. The next basic training perk is called Concuss, and it's super simple, guys. It just lets you carry an extra lethal and a tactical stun grenade as well. Again, this is super simple, and it's nothing new. We've seen this before. Moving on, we have the Flamethrower score streak, which we've seen before as a perk in World at War, an attachment in Black Ops 1, and an ability in Black Ops 3. I'm glad we are finally getting this as a score streak. I absolutely love this score streak. If you have time to play the beta at all this weekend, get this thing unlocked. It is fantastic, especially on Point to Hawk. My only criticism is that it lasts a long time if used correctly. This could be abused maybe at some point, and it doesn't reset on death unless switching rounds. So again, this might be abused at some point. They might have to nerf it down a little bit. They also brought mortars back as a score streak, and these behave almost exactly like a lightning strike from the Black Ops series. They're just a little bit slower, and honestly, I chose other streaks over this most of the time. It wasn't too good. I feel like they need to speed it up just a little bit just to get it to where it needs to be. And finally, last but not least, we have the final and most important update and piece of news information we have for Call of Duty World War II. And this one's a big one, guys, especially if you love SMGs and run-and-gun style gameplay like I do. The sprint out time. It has finally been adjusted, and it feels damn good now. Once you lock quick draw on an SMG, you finally feel able to win more gunfights, and this results in many more multi-kills if you were struggling before. For most of the gameplay I have in this video, I'm actually using the new updated settings in Call of Duty World War II with a 5.5 sensitivity, quick draw grip, and of course the updated sprint out time, and it feels so good, guys. My personal recommendation would be setting your sensitivity to 5 .55. If you can go higher than that, feel free to do that. But once you get adjusted to it, guys, the SMGs, they just feel amazing. You can finally make run and gun plays that normally you would not be able to make because the sprint on time before was just absolutely garbage. That brings us to the end of the video, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed what you saw. Comment down below, subscribe to see more. Stay humble, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.